Another video on oil pump replacement. As you can see, this one is leaking quite a bit with all the oil coming down here. And as I was doing the water pump, I discovered that it was leaking from the top up here all the way down to here. These bolts on the oil pan will have to come out, and then we'll have to jack up the motor a little bit. I already got that valve there out, and we'll proceed with taking off the oil pan. Alright, to do that, first thing we gotta do is take off this exhaust manifold. There's 3 bolts here on this side and 3 bolts, let's see, kind of dark over here on this side too. First I'm gonna take off this O2 sensor, and then we'll continue and get this exhaust off. So I have this exhaust hanging just loose, and it doesn't have to come off all the way. Saves you from replacing that gasket at the mid pipe over there. I'm gonna go ahead and remove these 10mm bolts. You get to all the 10mm. Got these 2 14 here that are mounted to the tranny. Let's get these loose and bring them out. Once you get to removing all the bolts out, there's a slot here where you can stick a long pry bar in there and pop it out. If I already got it loosened a little bit earlier, but pops right out. The pan should drop down. Oh, actually, I'm gonna have to lift this motor up a little bit. So this motor has to go up a little bit higher in order to drop that pan, because of that oil pickup that won't allow the pan to come loose. So this stop here where the AC mounts to, you can put a brick or something, wood stump there, and just jack it up from that end right there. Get that motor to go up. Let's see. Now we're going higher, and right about there, I feel like it stopped. All right, I have the oil pan off now, but it was just by a very small amount that was hidden here, and that was from this bracket that was keeping it from coming out. So just 5 bolts and get that cover off, and then the oil pan comes right off. And so that may be necessary. I've already tried to jack this high as I can, but the motor mount is keeping it from going any higher. And of course you gotta get the bolts from the top, which is not so easy from the bottom here, because these nuts are tack welded on and you can't loosen these from the bottom. And now we finally get to our oil pump. And loosen these up. Alright, after removing all these bolts and popping this loose, it's time for that oil pump to come out. There we go. And there we have it. It's been leaking from way up here, sipping down to here, to the front of the oil pump. So we'll get that all cleaned out and get it ready to put back in. Here's the oil pump. Here's a close-up of the leak coming from this gasket here, that it's been hardened. Yeah, I need something to makes his way up here, leaks down here. If not carefully inspected, this oil pump leak here, if it's not carefully inspected, could be mistaken for oil pan leak. I've even had it before where it leaked over here where the oil housing was, and had to replace that before, but it was leaking from oil housing. Up to this point, I already went ahead and got the oil pump reinstalled, torqued all the bolts, water pump installed. I got all the timing pulleys put back on. Went a little bit ahead of time. I had to get some other stuff done, so I apologize if I did not go through that step by step. But however, they go back on just how it came off. Nothing too special about that, except just torquing the bolts to the specific specs. And at this point, I'm ready to put my timing belt back on. Install that tensioner on there. All right, got our belt Mitsubishi belt. Made some line marks here so that I can line them up to the pulleys. That's gonna go there. Line up with that mark. This mark over here. All right, I got my marks on, got my belt on. Down here by the crank, we also have our mark lined up. Your mark down here, if you focus, it's gonna be this arrow pointing to that one on the oil pump. And you want to rotate that one or two times. Make sure your line's back up with the belt and the cam and the crank all at the same timing mark, and then you'll be good to go. There we go. White mark to white mark there. Mark to mark. And get your silicone on and get that ready to be mounted on the oil pan. Gently go in so it doesn't touch your silicone. Make its way in there. All right. I'll mount one bolt here first. It's a little tricky. All right, we got everything put back together. Thing looks good. Got that belt tightened back up. And we're ready to start it up. Fluid looks up to level, where we're gonna do a flush on that anyway, so